The alien princess stood on the balcony of her high tower, overlooking the city below. The sun reflected off the golden spires, casting long shadows over the streets and plazas. Ships hovered quietly in the air, moving with precision, while citizens walked calmly along the wide pathways. This was the heart of the empire, a place of strength and pride. The princess, known for her sharp mind and bold personality, felt confident as always. She had just been shown a collection of stories, holographic records of faraway planets, including one world called Earth. These stories spoke of human warriors, humans who fought with courage and skill, who survived battles that seemed impossible. The images flickered before her eyes. Humans dodging attacks, taking down enemies much larger than themselves, standing firm when all hope seemed lost. She laughed, a clear, sharp laugh that echoed through the high chamber. "Humans?" she said, tilting her head. "These stories are ridiculous. Weak creatures no stronger than any ordinary alien soldier. How could they be legends? How could anyone believe them?" Her advisors exchanged nervous glances. Many of them had studied human behavior from afar, reading the same reports and watching the same recordings. They had long believed in the humans' reputation, yet here was their princess dismissing it with a single laugh. "You speak as if you know them," one advisor said cautiously, "but the records are clear. Humans face impossible odds and survive. They inspire even the fiercest aliens to fear them." The princess shook her head, her dark hair brushing her shoulders. "Inspiration is not proof," she replied. "Stories are made to entertain, not to teach truth. I have never seen a human in battle. Until I do, I will not be convinced." The room fell silent. The other advisors dared not speak further. They had learned long ago that the princess's mind, once set, was nearly impossible to change. That night, as the city slept under the soft glow of artificial lights, the princess could not stop thinking about the humans. Her curiosity, hidden under her laughter, began to grow. What if the stories were true? Could these small, fragile beings really be warriors of legend? By dawn, her decision was made. She would see humans for herself. She would not rely on stories or reports. She would witness their strength firsthand. The princess left the palace quietly, dressed in simple clothing to avoid attention. Her small escort followed at a distance, sworn to secrecy. They traveled through the outskirts of the city, where the streets became less orderly and the air carried the smell of the wild lands beyond. Soon, they reached the edge of a training ground, where a small group of humans had arrived. They moved carefully through the terrain, scanning for threats. The princess crouched behind a rocky outcrop, her eyes fixed on them. At first glance, the humans seemed ordinary, thin, lightly armored, and carrying small weapons. They did not look like the great warriors she had imagined from the stories. Yet something about them made her pause. There was a focus in their eyes, a quiet determination that stood out even at a distance. The humans were suddenly attacked by a group of alien scouts, creatures larger and stronger than they were. The princess expected the humans to falter immediately, to run or be defeated easily. But she was wrong. The smallest human, a man with short brown hair and bright eyes, moved first. He dodged a swipe from a massive alien claw, rolling to the side and firing his weapon with precision. Another human flanked the attackers, using the environment to their advantage. Rocks, narrow paths, and shadows became tools in their hands. The princess watched, astonished. These humans were not fighting blindly. Every move had a purpose. Every attack was calculated, and yet they moved with a fluid grace that was almost like a dance. The battle continued, and one human took the lead, shouting orders calmly and confidently. His voice carried authority without arrogance. The alien scouts, though larger and stronger, began to fall back, confused by the human's strategy. The princess leaned forward, unable to hide her surprise. This is impossible," she whispered to herself. "How can such small beings defeat creatures so much stronger?" Even as she thought this, the humans did not hesitate. One of them leaped onto a rock, aiming directly at an alien leader. The strike was precise, knocking the creature off balance. Another human used a simple device to create a blinding light, causing the remaining aliens to retreat. In moments, the humans stood victorious, unharmed, their breathing steady despite the fight. The princess's eyes widened. She could not deny what she had seen. These humans, these creatures she had laughed at, were remarkable. They were clever, brave, and disciplined. The stories were not exaggerations. They had understated the truth. Yet even in her astonishment, the princess felt a spark of doubt. Perhaps this is a fluke, she thought. Perhaps they were lucky. But the confidence in the humans' movements, the way they adapted to every attack, told her otherwise. Luck had nothing to do with it. As the humans gathered their equipment and prepared to move on, the princess remained hidden. She wanted to see more. She wanted to understand these warriors better. She followed them at a distance, careful not to be noticed. The humans moved quickly, yet with caution, navigating through rocky valleys and narrow passes. They spoke quietly, exchanging information and checking each other's gear. It was clear that teamwork was their strength. No one acted alone, and each human protected the other. The princess's mind raced. She had expected chaos, disorganization, and fear. Instead, she saw intelligence, courage, and loyalty. These humans were different from any warriors she had known, different from any stories she had heard about other alien races. As night fell, the humans set up a small camp. The princess watched them from a hidden ridge above. They built fires, shared food, and treated minor injuries with care. Even in moments of rest, they remained vigilant, aware of their surroundings and ready to react. The princess could not help but admire them. She had laughed at the legends, mocked the idea that humans could be great warriors, but now she felt a deep respect growing inside her. She had underestimated them, and she knew that her understanding of strength, courage, and skill would have to change. For the first time, the princess felt a mixture of excitement and anticipation. She wanted to see more of these humans, to watch them in greater challenges, to learn the truth of their legends. The thought made her pulse quicken, a feeling she had rarely experienced. As she finally turned to return to her palace, the princess whispered to herself, "Perhaps the stories were not enough. Perhaps I will see the true legend soon." The stars above shone brightly, and the distant sounds of the alien city were quiet below. The princess, once so certain of her beliefs, now felt a curiosity she could not ignore. She had laughed at the legends, but she would no longer do so. The humans were real. Their courage was real, and the princess knew that, sooner or later, she would witness something even greater, something that would challenge everything she thought she knew about warriors, about strength, and about the people called humans. And with that thought, she vanished into the shadows, ready to watch, to learn, and perhaps to be surprised again. The alien princess watched the humans move through the rugged terrain with a quiet fascination. She had spent the night thinking about what she had seen, their clever tactics, their bravery, and their teamwork. Her pride had been shaken. She had laughed at legends, but now she could see that the stories might be true. Perhaps humans were far stronger than anyone gave them credit for. As dawn broke over the rocky valley, the humans approached a narrow pass. The light of the rising sun reflected off their simple armor, and the princess could see the determination in their faces. She had been careful to remain hidden, yet the distance allowed her a clear view. "This path is dangerous," said the human with short brown hair, the same one who had led the fight yesterday. He pointed ahead at the winding trail that cut through jagged cliffs. "Scouts could be waiting. Stay alert," the others nodded. Their movements were calm, precise, and deliberate. Every step seemed calculated. The princess marveled at their focus. She had expected clumsiness, fear, perhaps hesitation. Instead, she saw skill, confidence, and intelligence. Suddenly, from the shadows above, a group of alien raiders appeared. They were taller and stronger than the humans, their skin glinting with strange armor, weapons aimed at their unsuspecting targets. The princess's pulse quickened. This was the moment she had been waiting for. A real battle, not a story or a report. She wanted to see humans in action once again. The leader of the humans gave a quick signal and they spread out, taking cover behind rocks and narrow ledges. The aliens moved forward, confident that their size and strength would give them the advantage. The first attack came swiftly. One alien lunged at a human expecting an easy victory, but the human rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding the blow, and returned fire with a small but powerful weapon. Another human nearby used a grappling line to swing across the cliffside, landing behind an alien and striking with a precise weapon. The princess felt her eyes widen. These humans were not merely surviving. They were controlling the battle. Their movements were intelligent, coordinated, and fast. Every alien attack was met with a response, every opportunity seized. The aliens were surprised. They had expected easy prey, but the humans, small and seemingly weak, turned the fight around. One human used the terrain to his advantage, knocking a larger alien off a ledge with a clever trap. Another human threw a device that emitted a blinding light, disorienting the attackers. The princess could hardly believe what she saw. Each human acted with purpose and bravery. They were not reckless, yet they took risks that the princess herself would have admired. She realized that strength was not just in size or power, but in intelligence, courage, and teamwork. The battle continued for what felt like hours, though in reality it was only minutes. The aliens began to falter. Their confidence, once solid, was shaken. They were clever and strong, but they had underestimated humans. At one point, the leader of the humans stood on a small rise, directing his team with clear commands. He moved quickly to defend a teammate who was cornered, taking the attack himself and ensuring the human escaped unharmed. It was a simple act, but it showed leadership, bravery, and care for others. The princess felt her heart beat faster. She had never seen anything like this in her world. Her warriors, her best soldiers, would never have shown such combination of skill, bravery, and thoughtfulness. Humans were different in ways that her people could not yet understand. Finally, the aliens, realizing their defeat, retreated into the shadows, leaving the humans victorious. They did not cheer or celebrate loudly. Instead, they quickly regrouped, checked their equipment, and tended to minor injuries. Their focus was clear: survive, learn, and move forward. The princess stayed hidden, her mind racing. "I have laughed too soon," she whispered. "These humans, they are remarkable. Not because they are big or strong, but because they are clever, brave, and united." She followed them quietly as they moved through the pass, careful not to be seen. The humans continued their journey, ever watchful, never careless. The princess observed their interactions, noticing how they communicated silently, how they covered each other's backs, how each decision was deliberate. She began to see the humans as more than warriors. They were thinkers, planners, and survivors. The terrain grew rougher, cliffs rising on either side, and the path narrowed. The humans moved cautiously, but the princess noticed a spark of confidence in them. They had faced danger and survived, and they trusted in each other's abilities. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the cliffs. Rocks tumbled down from above. The princess's heart jumped. A larger force of alien raiders had spotted them, moving quickly to block their path. The humans froze for a moment, assessing the situation. The leader of the humans raised a hand and spoke briefly, giving instructions in calm, clear tones. Each human took their assigned position, using rocks and shadows for cover. The aliens, larger and more numerous, advanced confidently. They had strength, weapons, and size. Yet the humans did not flinch. The princess felt a shiver of excitement. This was no simple skirmish. This was a real test of skill, courage, and strategy. She could hardly wait to see how the humans would respond. The first clash was swift. An alien charged at a human, but the human rolled to the side, firing a precise shot that disabled the attacker's weapon. Another human used a simple trap, causing a small landslide that blocked a group of advancing aliens. The leader moved quickly, guiding his team, covering weak spots and responding to every threat. The princess's admiration grew with every moment. These humans were not just lucky. They were intelligent, brave, and coordinated. They were proving everything the legends had claimed and more. One moment stood out clearly. A human had been surrounded by 3 larger aliens, each stronger than him. The princess held her breath, expecting him to fall. But he did not panic. He used his surroundings cleverly, dodging one attack, pushing another into a trap, and finally taking down the third with a precise strike. His calm under pressure, his quick thinking amazed her. For the first time, the princess felt a deep respect that bordered on awe. She had dismissed humans as weak and unremarkable. Now she saw that their strength lay not in muscle or size, but in their mind, their courage, and their will to survive. After what felt like hours, the aliens retreated, unable to continue the fight. The humans gathered quickly, checking for injuries, sharing water, and adjusting their gear. They did not celebrate loudly. They remained focused, disciplined, and ready for the next challenge. The princess finally stepped back, her mind full of questions and admiration. She had laughed at the legends. She had doubted their truth. But now she could not deny it. Humans were different. Humans were capable, and she wanted to see more. As she turned to leave, the princess whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning. I must see what else these humans can do. If this is just a small fight, then the true test will be even greater." She returned to the ridge where she had first hidden, watching as the humans moved further along the narrow path. Each step, each glance, each action was filled with intelligence, bravery, and care for one another. The princess realized that she had underestimated not just humans, but the very idea of courage and strength. Night fell, and the humans set up camp once again. The princess watched silently from a distance, noting how they worked together, how they planned for possible dangers, and how they treated each other with respect. They were not loud heroes, but quiet, steady warriors, heroes in the truest sense. For the princess, a change was happening. Her arrogance and skepticism were giving way to curiosity, respect, and even a hint of excitement. Humans had proven themselves in battle, but she knew there was much more to learn. The stars shone above the rocky cliffs, and the sounds of the alien city were distant echoes far below. The princess remained in the shadows, her thoughts racing. She had laughed at the legends. She had expected weakness and failure. But humans had surprised her, and she knew that the real test was still ahead. The sun rose over a harsh, rocky planet, casting long shadows across the battlefield. Smoke from distant fires drifted across the sky, and the ground shook with the movement of massive alien vehicles. This was no small skirmish. The humans were now facing a full-scale attack, far larger than any they had encountered before. The princess, hidden on a high ridge, could see everything clearly. Her heart beat faster than ever. She had watched humans in small fights before, but this was different. Thousands of aliens, well-trained and heavily armed, were advancing. The humans, though outnumbered, had already taken positions across the rocky terrain. They moved quickly, preparing defenses, sharing supplies, and checking weapons. The calm precision in their actions amazed the princess. The leader of the humans stood on a small rise, scanning the battlefield. He was the same man she had seen in the previous fights, his brown hair messy, his armor scratched and dirty. Yet he did not appear worried. His eyes were sharp, his mind focused. He gestured to his team, giving clear, short instructions. Every human moved with purpose, knowing exactly what to do. The princess watched, holding her breath. She had laughed at the legends. She had believed humans were weak. But now, seeing them prepare for a battle that seemed impossible, she began to understand the truth. Humans were not weak. Humans were clever, brave, and unafraid to face overwhelming odds. The first wave of alien attackers surged forward. Large creatures, taller and stronger than humans, charged with weapons raised. They roared in confidence, sure of victory. But the humans did not flinch. They moved as one, using rocks, narrow paths, and clever traps to slow the attackers. One human, small and agile, ran forward to set a simple explosive trap. He dodged a swipe from a massive alien claw and rolled behind a boulder. The trap went off, sending several attackers tumbling down the rocky slope. Another human used a grappling line to swing onto a higher ledge, firing at enemies from above. The princess's eyes widened. Every movement, every action was smart and precise. The aliens tried to push forward, using their strength to crush the humans' defenses. But the humans adapted. They moved quickly, using speed, clever maneuvers, and teamwork to counter the aliens' advantage. Even when surrounded, they did not panic. One by one, they turned the battle in their favor, striking with precision and courage. The princess could hardly believe what she saw. These humans were not only surviving, they were leading the fight. Their bravery inspired even her, a seasoned observer of battle. They moved with intelligence, courage, and a unity she had never seen in any other race. The leader of the humans ran across the battlefield, directing his team. He moved to protect a teammate who had been cornered by 3 large aliens. Using quick thinking and a small device, he created a flash of light that blinded the attackers. Then, with careful timing, he struck each alien in turn, allowing his teammate to escape. The princess leaned forward, unable to look away. This was more than skill, it was courage, leadership, and teamwork combined. Humans were proving themselves in ways the legends had not fully described. Another human team worked together to take down an alien vehicle. Using a combination of explosives and precise targeting, they disabled the massive machine, sending it crashing into the rocky ground. The aliens were confused, unable to predict the humans' strategy. The princess felt a thrill of excitement. She had thought humans were weak. Now she knew they were extraordinary. Despite the humans' small numbers, they continued to fight with determination. Every time an alien attacked, a human countered. Every obstacle was met with intelligence. The battlefield became a dance of courage and strategy. At one point, the leader noticed a group of young humans trapped by a larger alien unit. Without hesitation, he ran into the danger, drawing the aliens' attention. His movements were fast and precise, using every advantage of the terrain. The trapped humans seized the opportunity, escaping while the leader held the attackers at bay. The princess's admiration grew with every moment. She had doubted humans. She had laughed at the stories, but now she could see that their strength was real, and it was more than she had imagined. Humans were not just fighters. They were thinkers, leaders, and heroes. The aliens tried to regroup, bringing in reinforcements and larger weapons. But the humans were ready. They used clever traps, natural cover, and quick attacks to keep the enemy off balance. The humans moved quickly, changing positions, confusing the aliens and taking advantage of every mistake. The princess realized something important. Humans were not just brave, they were adaptable. They could change plans in the middle of battle, respond to new threats, and keep moving forward no matter what. This was the heart of their legend, and she could see it clearly now. One human climbed a high ridge and fired at a key alien commander, distracting him from the rest of the battlefield. Another human flanked the enemies from the side, striking unexpectedly. The humans' teamwork was perfect, each member supporting the other, each action reinforcing the plan. The princess's eyes glistened. She had underestimated humans, but now she could not deny it. The stories were true, and perhaps they had only scratched the surface of the humans' abilities. As the battle raged on, the aliens began to fall back. Their confidence faltered. They had strength in numbers, but they could not match the humans' cleverness, courage, and unity. The humans pressed forward, careful but determined, until the aliens finally retreated completely. The battlefield was quiet, except for the heavy breathing of the humans and the distant sounds of the retreating aliens. The humans checked their equipment, helped the injured, and ensured that everyone was safe. There were no cheers, no loud celebrations. They remained focused, disciplined, and ready for whatever came next. The princess stayed hidden, her mind full of admiration and wonder. She had laughed at the legends. She had believed humans were weak. But now she knew the truth. Humans were more than warriors, they were heroes. Their courage, intelligence, and unity had turned an impossible battle into a victory. She could see the leader standing on a rise, looking over his team. His expression was calm but proud. He had guided them through the battle with skill, courage, and wisdom. The princess felt a deep respect for him, and for every human she had watched. For the first time, the princess understood the meaning of true strength. It was not just size, speed, or weapons. True strength came from the mind, the heart, and the willingness to face impossible odds. Humans had shown her that. As night fell, the humans set up camp on the battlefield. They remained alert, but they worked together to rest, eat, and prepare for the next challenge. The princess watched silently from her hidden ridge, her mind racing. She had seen their courage, their intelligence, and their teamwork. She had laughed at the legends, but now she could not. A new thought entered her mind. What else could humans do? She had seen them fight, but there must be more. How would they handle even greater challenges? She could not wait to find out. The stars shone above the rocky planet, and the fires from the battle cast flickering shadows across the ground. The princess remained in the darkness, her heart and mind full of respect, curiosity, and excitement. Humans had proven themselves not just in small fights, but in a battle that seemed impossible, and she knew that the best was yet to come. The humans' true skills, their legendary courage, and their remarkable intelligence would be revealed even more. She had witnessed part of the legend, but the full story was still ahead. The princess whispered to herself, almost in awe, "These humans, they are not just warriors. They are more than I imagined. I must see more. I must learn their truth." And with that thought, she remained hidden, watching, waiting, and ready for the humans to show her what legends were truly made of. The battlefield was quiet now. Smoke from the recent fight hung low over the rocky terrain, and the distant sounds of retreating aliens faded into the wind. The humans were busy tending to their wounded, checking weapons, and preparing to move forward. Every action was calm, careful, and efficient. The princess, still hidden on a ridge above them, watched closely, her curiosity stronger than ever. She had seen humans in battle. She had seen their courage, intelligence, and teamwork. But now she wanted to understand them better, not just as fighters, but as people. She wanted to see what made them different from anyone she had ever known. As she descended carefully from the ridge, keeping her presence hidden, she noticed that the humans had made camp near a narrow canyon. Fires burned softly, and the group moved quietly, their attention still on safety and readiness. The princess took a deep breath. She would approach closer but carefully. She did not want to startle them or cause unnecessary trouble. From a hidden position behind a boulder, she watched a small group of humans discussing their next steps. The leader, the man she had seen in battle, spoke quietly, his voice calm but firm. "We need to move at first light," he said. "The aliens may return. We have to be ready." Another human, a woman with dark hair tied back, nodded. "We can carry the wounded to the safe path through the canyon. It will slow us, but it's the safest route." The humans began organizing themselves. Each person had a role and everyone knew it. Some carried supplies, some helped the injured, and others kept watch. Even in moments of rest, they remained alert. The princess felt admiration grow inside her. She had laughed at the stories, dismissed the humans as weak. But now she saw their real strength, not just in battle, but in how they cared for each other, how they thought, and how they stayed calm under pressure. A sudden movement caught her eye. One of the humans, a younger man, was struggling to lift a wounded teammate. The leader immediately noticed and moved to help. "Here, take this side," he said, steadying the injured man. "We'll get him to safety together." The princess was struck by the simplicity and humanity of the moment. Courage was not only in fighting, it was in helping others, in staying calm when things were difficult, in thinking clearly when danger surrounded you. These humans were more than warriors. They were thoughtful, kind, and strong in ways she had never imagined. She decided to reveal herself carefully. Stepping from behind the boulder, she raised a hand in greeting. The humans froze, eyes wide. For a moment, silence fell. Then the leader stepped forward slowly, assessing her without hostility. "Who are you?" he asked. His voice was calm but cautious. "I am the princess of this planet," she said, her tone steady. "I have watched you. I wanted to see the humans I have heard about, the ones who fight and survive where others cannot." The humans looked at each other, surprised but not afraid. The leader studied her, then nodded. "You came to watch. You saw us fight. That is clear. But why now are you here?" "I wanted to understand," she admitted. "I have laughed at your stories, doubted your strength, and now I see that I was wrong. I want to learn about you, not as legends, but as real people." The princess's honesty seemed to calm the group. The humans relaxed slightly, though they remained cautious. One of them, the woman who had helped with the wounded, spoke first. "It's not easy being human," she said. "We are not the strongest, the fastest, or the most powerful. But we survive because we work together, because we think, and because we do not give up." The princess nodded. She could see the truth in those words. Courage was not about size or power. It was about intelligence, bravery, and unity. Humans had shown her all of these qualities again and again. The leader gestured to the fire. "Sit," he said. "You can watch. You can ask questions, but you must understand that we are not invincible. We have weaknesses. We survive because we use our minds and because we trust each other." The princess stepped closer to the fire. She could feel the warmth and hear the quiet sounds of humans preparing for the night. They were practical, thoughtful, and careful. They did not boast or exaggerate their deeds. Their bravery spoke for itself. She asked about their experiences. "How do you remain calm when facing danger?" she inquired. The leader looked at her, thoughtful. "Fear is natural," he said. "We all feel it. But courage is choosing to act despite fear. We plan, we prepare, and we trust in ourselves and each other. That is how we survive." The princess listened carefully, absorbing every word. She realized that this philosophy explained everything she had seen. The clever tactics, the bravery in impossible situations, the teamwork that allowed them to face larger and stronger enemies. Another human spoke, a young man who had been injured in the last battle. "It's not about being perfect," he said. "It's about doing your best even when things seem hopeless. We protect each other, and that makes us strong." The princess felt a deep respect for them. These humans were not just fighters. They were thinkers, planners, and friends. They had courage but also compassion. They were brave but also careful and thoughtful. She realized that she had been wrong to judge them from afar. The stories she had laughed at were not exaggerations, but they could not fully capture the human's true nature. She had seen humans in battle, but she had never understood them as people. The night passed quietly. The humans kept watch in shifts, resting when they could, staying alert when needed. The princess remained with them, watching and learning. She saw small acts of kindness, small moments of bravery, and small decisions that made a big difference. By morning, the humans were ready to move again. The princess followed them, careful to stay out of sight but close enough to observe. They traveled through the canyon, using careful strategies to avoid potential dangers. Every step was calculated, every action purposeful. At one point, the humans encountered a narrow bridge over a deep chasm. One human went first, testing the structure. Others followed, helping each other across. The princess noticed the trust in their eyes. Not just trust in the bridge, but trust in each other. She understood now that this trust was the foundation of their strength. It was what allowed them to face impossible odds and survive. Their courage came from their unity, their intelligence, and their care for one another. Finally, they reached a safer area, where the terrain was more open. The princess stepped forward, revealing herself fully this time. "I have seen your courage," she said. "I have watched your skill and your teamwork. I now understand what makes humans strong. It is not size, not power, but your heart, your mind, and your unity." The humans looked at her, surprised but respectful. The leader nodded. "You have seen the truth," he said. "Humans are not perfect, but we fight, we survive, and we protect each other. That is all we can do." The princess smiled, feeling a deep respect and admiration for them. She had laughed at the legends, doubted their truth. And now she had learned that humans were more remarkable than she had imagined. She stayed with them as they moved forward, learning their ways, understanding their values, and seeing that true strength came in many forms. Courage, intelligence, teamwork, and compassion. These were the qualities that made humans legends. For the first time, the princess felt that she had discovered something new, something inspiring. She had not only seen humans in battle, but she had begun to understand them, and she knew that her journey with them was far from over. The sun rose higher, casting light over the canyon and the humans who moved through it with determination. The princess walked among them, no longer hidden, learning, observing, and respecting every action. She had laughed at the legends once. She would never do so again. Humans were strong, brave, and clever, and she had seen their true power, not just in battle, but in their hearts, and she knew that soon. She would witness even greater feats, even more remarkable bravery, and even more reasons to respect the people called humans. The air was thick with tension as the humans approached the edge of the alien territory. Smoke from distant skirmishes drifted across the horizon, and the ground shook slightly with the movement of alien war machines. The princess walked among them now openly, her curiosity and admiration fully awakened. She had seen humans fight and survive before, but she knew that the greatest test of their skill, courage, and unity lay ahead. The humans had learned that a larger alien force was moving to claim the high plateau ahead. The enemy's numbers far exceeded their own. Yet the humans did not hesitate. They prepared quietly, carefully, and with determination. The princess could see it clearly. Every human had a role, every move was deliberate, every action mattered. The leader gathered his team. "We cannot face them head-on," he said. "But we can use the terrain, our strategy, and our teamwork. If we stay calm, think carefully, and trust each other, we can win." The princess nodded. She had seen the humans' intelligence, their courage, and their skill. Now she could see how they planned for impossible odds. Their bravery was not reckless, it was calculated, disciplined, and precise. The first wave of aliens arrived quickly, their towering forms advancing across the plateau. They expected fear, hesitation, or disorder from their smaller opponents. But the humans stood firm. They moved quickly into positions that gave them cover and advantage. Some set traps, others prepared devices to slow the alien advance, and a few kept watch for weak points. The battle began with a sudden roar. Alien. War machines rumbled forward, firing energy beams that tore across the rocky ground. The humans ducked, rolled, and fired back with precision. The princess watched, fascinated, as a single human took a small device and placed it carefully on a slope. Moments later, a rockslide sent several attackers tumbling down, blocking their path and giving the humans space to move. The aliens tried to push through, but the humans adapted instantly. One team ran to higher ground, flanking the enemy and striking from above. Another team used narrow passages to control the aliens' movements, forcing them into traps. Every human knew exactly what to do, and every action reinforced the others. The princess's heart pounded. She had laughed at the legends once, doubted the humans' abilities, and now she realized she had been completely wrong. These humans were more than warriors. They were leaders, thinkers, and heroes. At one point, the leader noticed a group of young humans trapped by a larger alien unit. Without hesitation, he ran into danger, drawing the attacker's attention. His movements were precise, calculated, and fearless. While he distracted the aliens, the trapped humans escaped, and then joined the fight again, inspired by their leader's courage. The princess watched closely, amazed. Every human showed bravery not because they were fearless, but because they acted despite fear. They did not wait for victory. They created it. Each small success built on the next, until the alien forces, though larger and stronger, began to falter. Another remarkable moment came when a human team disabled an alien war machine. Using simple tools, quick thinking, and teamwork, they found its weak point, struck it, and sent it crashing into the rocky ground. The aliens roared in frustration, unable to understand how such small beings could overcome machines built to crush them. The princess felt a deep admiration that went beyond respect. She had never seen courage like this, intelligence like this, or unity like this in any other race. Humans were extraordinary. She had laughed at stories once, but now she understood. They did not exaggerate. The legends had been only a glimpse of the truth. The battle raged on for hours, and the humans showed no sign of giving up. Each time an alien attacked, they countered. Each time danger appeared, they adapted. Their determination never wavered. Their teamwork never faltered. The princess could see that their true power lay not in size or weapons but in their mind, their courage, and their willingness to protect each other. At one critical moment, the leader spotted a large alien commander moving to attack the human center. Without hesitation, he ran toward the commander, leading a small team. They moved quickly and carefully, dodging attacks and using the terrain to their advantage. With a combination of clever traps and precise strikes, they disabled the commander and forced the alien army to retreat. The princess's eyes filled with awe. She had not expected humans to act so boldly, so skillfully, and so fearlessly. Every human she had seen that day had proven the legends true, not just in strength but in leadership, strategy, and courage. As the last of the alien forces fled, the humans gathered, checking for injuries, sharing water, and ensuring that everyone was safe. They did not celebrate loudly. Their victory was quiet, disciplined, and complete. They had faced impossible odds and survived, not through luck, not through size or power, but through intelligence, courage, and unity. The princess stepped forward, walking among them openly now. "I have laughed at your stories," she said softly. "I have doubted your strength, but I see now, you are everything the legends claimed and more." The humans looked at her, surprised but respectful. The leader nodded. "You have seen the truth," he said. "We are not perfect, but we do our best. We trust each other, we fight together, and we never give up. That is what makes us strong." The princess smiled. She had witnessed humans in battle, seen their courage, intelligence, and teamwork, and now she understood their true nature. Legends could not capture everything. They had only hinted at the humans' full power. She turned to look at the battlefield, now quiet except for the fires still burning in the distance. The humans had proven themselves, not just to their enemies, but to her as well. She had laughed at legends, but now she would never do so again. The leader approached her. "You have seen us fight," he said. "But you must also see why we fight. It is not for glory or fame. It is for survival, for each other, and for what we believe is right." The princess nodded. She could see it clearly now. Humans were brave, not because they sought attention, but because they believed in each other. They were clever, not to boast, but to survive and protect. They were united, not because of fear, but because they understood that strength came from cooperation. For the first time, The princess felt a deep admiration that went beyond respect. She had not only seen humans fight, but she had understood them. She realized that courage, intelligence, and unity were what made a true warrior, and humans had them in abundance. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in gold and red, the humans gathered their camp. The princess stood with them, no longer an observer, but a witness to their true legend. Every human she had seen that day had proved herself wrong, and she felt grateful to have witnessed it. She walked among them, talking quietly with the leader and other members of the group. She learned more about their ways, their thinking, and their courage. She saw small acts of kindness, careful planning, and bravery that required no weapons at all. Humans were extraordinary, not just in battle, but in life. The stars appeared in the sky above, and the fires from the battle cast flickering shadows across the ground. The princess looked at the humans, their faces tired but determined, and she knew that the stories she had once dismissed were true. Humans were legends in every sense. For the first time, she spoke with certainty. "I have laughed at the legends," she said. "I have doubted your strength, but now I see it. Humans are brave, clever, and united. You are truly remarkable." The leader smiled. "You have seen our best," he said. "But there is more to learn. Humans are not perfect, but we keep trying, we keep learning, and we keep moving forward. That is what makes us strong." The princess nodded, feeling a sense of awe and respect that she had never felt before. She had witnessed human bravery, intelligence, and unity. She had seen the impossible made possible, and she had learned that true strength was more than size or power. As night settled over the rocky terrain, the princess looked at the humans who had fought and survived. She realized that she had learned something far more valuable than a story or a legend. She had learned the truth of humans, their courage, their intelligence, and their unity, and she knew that she would never laugh at legends again. Humans had proven themselves to her in battle, in thought, and in heart. They were warriors, heroes, and a living legend. The princess stood quietly among them, watching the stars, and smiled. The humans had earned her respect, her admiration, and her trust. She had laughed at their legends, but now she knew. They were real. They were extraordinary, and she would never forget what she had witnessed. The battle was over. The aliens were gone, but the story of humans, brave, clever, and united, would live on. And the princess, who had once laughed, would carry that story forward, a witness to the truth she had seen with her own eyes.